How's off season been?
It's been great, really good. Yeah, guys been working hard. Excited to get to this phase right now and get back into it. So actually do football stuff.
What's it been like seeing his development? I mean, it's okay. You don't have to,
Yeah,
since he's here.
no, it's been great. I mean, Lake's done everything we've asked him to do. Really, like the entire group, honestly, has been awesome. Our entire team, really, we haven't had any issues. Guys come to work every single day and really are embracing the standard, of making it a team first environment, but also having that unwavering competitive spirit and really pushing through and doing everything they can to be the best they can be every day.
Yeah, Jude. It seems like he's looking at his last season here at USC.
Yep.
What's his development been since you first got here to now?
It's been really good. He's had some dings in here and there that have stopped him from developing to the same level that he wants to. Obviously, but he's shown some really good things in the times that we've seen him and in the reps that we've been able to see him. So, obviously, really excited to get him back and get him back into it because he's probably one of the most liked guys on the team. He's got a really good relationship with a lot of those guys, and also he's got an ability level that's really high too. So excited to get him back and get him into the swing of things.
How'd you lose out on the sweepstakes? Losing it to the receiver.
Hey, it was all part of the plan from the beginning, just to find out where he fit best and all that stuff. So we're excited. I'm glad he's a Trojan. That kid's a great kid. A great player.
Obviously, the tight end room's a little bit different than last year. Just the face changes and stuff. What's the biggest difference you would say in the personalities that you have on there, as well as the players?
Right, 100%.
Honestly, I think personality-wise, I think we're very similar. Great kids. They come in. I haven't had a single issue with any of them. They don't miss class. They don't miss weights. They're not late for anything. They're on time. They work hard. They want to be great. They kind of check off all the boxes that we've asked them to do, and then they've gone.
I mean, we got a small taste of it last year.
Very blessed to have the guys that I've got in my room. Excited for the growth that all of them have had over this year. And excited to kind of get the pads on and see where we're at so we can keep making strides.
You guys, bringing in Kate Eldridge, a little bit different body type, Carson coming over, different body type. Do you feel like you have the bodies more requisite for that H-back position, and maybe you have two separate positions, whether it be the inline and the H-back? Is that kind of how you guys attack that? Or I know you want to be well-rounded and to do a little bit of everything, but do you feel like you can, kind of key in on one position versus the other a little bit more this season?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you always have to play around your players, right? I mean, they're the ones out on the field doing it. So they each have their own skill set that's very unique to them. And Kate is a good example of a guy we kind of saw as a guy that could do a whole lot of things. And each of these guys, Lake's taking huge strides even from last year. And Tabo coming over and his skill set is really unique too. So it's really just finding out where those guys fit in the game plan and how they can separate themselves from somebody else, because we've got a lot of weapons on offense we're going to compete.
You go from the spring where you have, two bodies, I think it is, and with a couple of walk-ons as well. Yeah. Now you should have a full room. How different will that be for you in the fall? Are you excited about maybe some different things you can do a little bit in practice?
Absolutely, yeah. No, that was a big part of the spring. I think at one point we had one tight end or something. So I'm just excited for those guys to be healthy, be back, be ready to come and attack this thing every single day. So we've got a full room. I think I have 6 in my room right now. So excited about the new additions we've got and to kind of see where we're at this fall.
What do you want to see from the tight end group this season? What growth do you want to see from last year?
I think just continuing to play just well-rounded football. I mean, be elite blockers. I was talking earlier about that with somebody. I know I talked about it last year too, but that's how we separate ourselves from Taj Washington and Mario Williams and those type of bodies, right? And ultimately, those are the guys we're competing for time with. And so, if we can be elite in the blocking game, then that'll open other things up in the pass game. I think in the pass game, the growth I like to see, and we've been working really hard on, is just being dominant in the pass game. Attacking balls, being the big body that we need our guys to be, to go up and make those plays and really take our offense to the next level.
Do you think the tight ends will be used a little bit more as far as outside the 20s? I know you guys were big red zone targets last year and had some touchdowns, but not a ton of catches as far as the group as a whole. Is that something that you would like to see a little bit more and challenge the group with, or how do you kind of see that playing out, just from the 20s to the 20s rather than inside the red zone?
Yeah, you challenge your guys all the time. I mean, I want my guys to catch 100 balls a year. It'd be awesome. And, I know that that's a chip on their shoulder as well, and something that they're working really hard at. But ultimately, whatever helps us win ball games is what they're willing to do. Again, it comes back to the standard team first, and we got a bunch of guys that truly have bought into that and really believe in it. So they're all here with one goal in mind, and that's to win a championship. And however that unfolds, that's all it is.
Last year, you talked at the same event about basically battling with those inside receivers. We want to be the fourth guy on the field, maybe even the fifth guy if you go two tight ends. And last year, you guys there was a ton of tight end on the field pretty much exclusively, not a lot of 4 wides or 5 wide sets. So, what do you have to do to prove that you guys should be on the field more? Do you want to see more 2 tight end sets? What can you do to push your group to being used a little bit more, I guess?
Build consistency in practice. I mean, you got to go make those plays on a consistent basis every single day. And it's not to pressure the guys, but to help them understand, you're going to have to go out and set yourself apart in practice with the quarterback who's dishing out the ball, but also with the head coach who's calling the plays. So you need to bring some kind of value to this team that'll separate you and say, we can't keep that guy off the field. And so that's what I challenge my group with every single day is be that guy, consistently make that play. The ball comes your way, you better come down with it. And if you're doing that on a consistent basis, we ain't going to take you off the field.
What's the biggest challenge, coaching, blocking as a tight end? You've been an offensive line coach, so the inline stuff I feel like is pretty normal for you, but then when Lincoln lines up a guy in the backfield, or then you're motioning guys, in the H-back spot, what's the different challenge there as far as, teaching the blocking schemes that way?
Yeah, a lot of it's footwork, aiming points, different body positions and stuff than if you're like a true inline guy. So, you have to adapt a little bit. A lot of it's like alignment, putting yourself in a position to go win the play. So, these guys have a lot on their plate. They have a lot they have to learn. There's times, like you said, they're in the backfield. They're like a running back. So, I'll pull up some running back film and teach them how to block like a running back in those instances. So they really do have a full scope of the offense that they have to learn, and that's what makes this position more fun too.
Have you been petitioning for any of those carries out of the backfield? I was hoping for Josh Follow to get one last year at some point.
And I'm always petitioning for the tight end carries and throwbacks and reverses, and every guy in my room says they can throw the reverse pass, of course. So, but ultimately, I'm just excited for the guys to get out there and get the ball.
Last year, the offense, was so successful. What can it do to be better this season? I mean, Austin Jones said you guys have the best wide receiver group in the country, and a couple of guys have agreed with that. You have the Heisman Trophy winner coming back. What can this group do better than it did last year to be an even more dynamic offense?
I think it just comes down to just overall execution, elite execution and efficiency, and just that mentality of just attacking every single play. There's games where we were really, really good on offense, but you go back and watch the film, and there's 100 things we could have changed and made better. It's always that way. Even when you think it's a perfect game, you go back and watch it, and you're like, man, we could have gotten better here. I think our key right now is just going out and attacking the process every single day. We've got a bunch of new guys that we have to bring in too. We have some new offensive linemen. We have some new receivers, some new tight ends, some new running backs that we have to kind of build that culture around again and help them understand this is how we play ball here, and then ultimately find out who this team's going to be. Last year was last year at this point. Even if you have 21 of the 22 guys back or whatever, this is still a new team. And so I think defining who our identity is going to be this year, and we'll find out a lot of that during camp and leading into the first game.
So far, how do you feel like the culture building is going? Personally, I think that was the most impressive thing you guys did last year, is to be able to turn the roster over with so many people and so many people being bought in. How do you think that's gone with all the new faces? Because, again, bringing a good amount of new faces again this year.
I think it's been great, honestly, and just being around other programs and other places I've worked and all that, and seeing how our guys interact with each other here, the level at which they're working every single day together. And you're right, last year it was a special blend of people that were here before we got here and the new guys we brought in and bringing all those guys together. And it's going to be that every single year, right? You're going to recruit new guys and bring them in. But I think the culture was set at a much higher level this year than it was when we first got here, where we had to really, truly build that in. And our guys have been phenomenal. I mean, good teams are run by coaches, great teams are run by players. And our teams have taken that and run with it, and our players have done a phenomenal job.
What do you think is the key to building that culture as you're going? And you talked about some of the outings that you do away from the field, and the players have talked about that. But, as a coaching staff, and you look at it like, all right, we're bringing in whatever it may be, 35 new guys. How do we get those guys? What events or what type of activities do we want to do to make sure that that they're on the same page, that they're buying into the culture that you guys did establish last year?
I think it's a consistency level across the board with everybody in the program. Us as coaches, being consistent with the language we use to them, how we're saying things, how we're coaching things, how we're teaching things. I think our players that are here know that we're truly out for the best interest of this program, and we're all trying to achieve a common goal. We're all trying to come together and go win a championship. So. The events with the players is a big one for sure. We just went to a tight end dinner last night with the guys, kind of kick off camp. And we have a lot of other team building things, which sounds like all the guys have talked about. So obviously those have made an impact on the team. But I think that consistent coaching and respect for each other and our players is something that helps lead those guys to understand they can trust us, and they know that. And we know as long as they trust us to a certain level, we can push them that far. So you can only push them as far as they trust you. And as long as they trust you like crazy, man, you can push, and they're going to just respond to it. And it makes for a special recipe.
How much does the continuity help with consistent message, consistent verbiage? I guess how has that helped you guys this season, being with pretty much the exact same staff with some support staff and changes?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, when all 10 of your full-time assistants come back and the head coach comes back and the same staff is in place for the most part, I mean, we built an incredible relationship with each other last year too as a staff, and I think our players felt that, and that's really important to us, and it's genuine, it's real. So when everybody comes back, there's a comfortability factor with everybody on this staff now. We all know exactly how each other coach. We know what the expectation level is from Coach Riley and all the way down. I think that takes a lot of pressure off of us and our players because they all know who we are. There's no learning curve for them to figure out what we're about.
What's the dichotomy like for you and Annie? Work versus home. Are you able to separate it, or do you try, or how does that go for you now that you've been a year in of working together? Out here.
Yeah, no, it's kind of the same message as last year. We're an all-in family, so we knew exactly what we were signing up for. We've gone through this for 9 years together, a couple times at the same spot. So we truly love what we do. We work with great people. We have great kids in our group, and our pillow talk's probably a little different than a lot of other coaches and their wives, But at the end of the day, it's always trying to figure out.
We know the wide receivers.
She makes me a better coach, and I make her a better recruiter. And we are each other's biggest fans, biggest champions.
Is that going to happen?
And try to help each other.
Sure, a little bit